And good morning, YouTube. The old soldier coming from Robertson County, North Carolina, on a cold, rainy morning here in North Carolina. At least this part of North Carolina. But anyway, folks, I hope everybody's off to a great start to their TGIF. That's right, TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. So, yeah. So, fun Friday with the old soldier. We're going to talk about the Army-Navy game. That's right. Go Navy! Lose to Army. I get people on that one all the time. They're like, "You're Army, you said go Navy." You gotta listen. I'm rooting for Navy to lose to Army like I did for the last several years. And they finally started listening. So we're gonna continue with that trend of go Navy, lose to Army. But, and yes, for all you Marines out there, I know y'all are torn between supporting your like-minded brothers and sisters in the Army and those puddle hoppers that take you on boat rides to places you don't want to go. So, that was a joke, by the way, folks. Because the Air Force does it to the Army all the time, flies us everywhere in the world we don't want to go. And on most occasions, they bring us back. But anyway, that was always my running joke with the Air Force. I said, I love the Air Force. Fly me everywhere in the world I don't want to go. You talk about a long-standing tradition, the Army-Navy game. I guess it's going on over 100 years now. I want to say they started playing against each other well before World War I. Pretty sure they did. I had to go back and look at the books, but I'm pretty sure they did. I'm trying to think of when the first actual Army-Navy game was official. But anyway, I know it's a long-standing tradition too. A lot of rivalry there, but at the end of the day, it's all good fun. And to watch, the Army cadets come out in their traditional gray long coats, and the Navy comes out in their black long officer style pea coats. And the cheering and the camaraderie and supporting of their teams on the field. I know this year the Army's football uniform is supposed to resemble in some measure the new pinks and greens. I don't know whose decision that was, but to be honest, I think that was kind of stupid. But hey, they should just stuck with the traditional black and gold they've always worn for so many years. But then again, I think last year they wore some type of camouflage pattern on their jerseys. So I don't know. I really don't get hung up too much onto this. I do like the fact that, in past years, and I think they're doing it again this year, that the Army puts on and the Navy too, puts on patches of units they support, which I think is very admirable and very appreciative of the soldiers in the Army, and I'm sure the Navy and the Marine Corps are appreciative of their service academy patches and insignia they wear on their jerseys when they play. So, but it's always fun to watch. I've got an older brother who always likes to root for the Navy, even though our daddy was Army. Of course, he never served, so I guess he can have his loyalties wherever he lies. So, I always give him a hard time when Army wins, because he'll call me up. How about that Navy? What about them puddle hoppers? I'll tease him. But, I'm hoping Army wins again this year. Their little motivational commercial they showed, I was talking about yesterday, about where they were going, you haven't watched that, but you gotta watch it. It's really corny, but it's got some funny parts in it too. just the various levels of motivation. But what gets me is Sergeant Major Army Grinston. When they did it to him, he goes, kind of like, not really going to be a part of this commercial. Like I said, that doesn't surprise me with him. He's always been kind of a down-to-earth, no-nonsense kind of individual. One I've got the utmost respect and admiration for. Like I said, when we served together on Fort Bragg, he may not know it, but I looked up to him as a mentor. I tried to take away some things from him that he took the time to try to help me with. He just didn't know the level of appreciation I had for that. But anyway, folks, plugging on along today. Fun Friday. I don't even know who the Air Force Academy's rival is. Never really hear about them too much on the gridiron. I think it used to be Colorado State University, I think. I'm not sure. But ArmyNavy Game. But I'll give the Navy credit. You know, they've had a good football program for years, whereas the Army's kind of lacked in that department for years. Just to be quite honest. And I think now all the coaches for the service academies are hired. A long time ago, they used to be members of the service under their tenure at the academy. Like I said, that's been many, many, many years ago. I don't know when they started actually hiring civilian coaches. And I'm not even sure if some of the coaching staff is military, if they're all civilian. I don't keep up with that in depth. Might be interesting to find out. You know, when an officer and NCOs too get assigned to West Point for a tour of duty, they take on several things other than just the subjects they teach. There's extra curricular activities they become involved with. I just don't know all the prerequisites, or I say prerequisites, whatever, additional duties that faculty at the West Point incurs once they take that assignment. If there's any former West Pointers out there that know, you know, give a holler down in the comments section. That'd be interesting to find out. But one of my all-time favorite movies that, you know, really shows Army-Navy rivalry in a couple of scenes. If anybody's ever seen the movie with Tyrone Power, The Long Gray Line, you gotta watch it. It really does get into the traditions of West Point from way back when. And I know, spoiler alert, Tyrone Power plays the part of an Irish immigrant whose first job is working in the dining hall at West Point as a busboy, taking the dirty dishes back to the kitchen for cleaning. And he's just overwhelmed by this rigid military structure that surrounds him. So somewhere along the line, he is convinced to join the Army. See, back then, you know, you joined at whatever post was nearby, and you did your basic training there, and you pretty much served with that regiment for a good duration of your career, if not all of your career. Anyway, and this is based on a true story, by the way. He stays at West Point his entire military career, raising, you know, going from private all the way to master sergeant. There's one scene where he becomes a swimming coach, but he himself does not know how to swim. So yeah, and he was an enlisted soldier helping the commissioned officers and the cadets, and he became a mainstay at the academy, if you will. But you got to watch it. Long Gray Line with Tyrone Power. It's just a beautiful movie. It's got some very comic moments. You've got Maureen O'Hara, who plays his love interest and wife. And if you love Maureen O'Hara and her movies, this is probably one of her best, I think. And there's several others. Ward Bond plays a rather significant role. But it's a very, very good movie. And the very end of it, I'll save that for you to watch. But when you get to the end, if you're an old soldier and your eyes don't begin to sweat, something's wrong with you. There's another good movie that talks about Army-Navy rivalry. The Wings of Eagles, I think was the name of it, with John Wayne. They got a whole host of people in there. What was the guy that played Festus? And Ken Curtis is in it. But he plays the part of a naval aviator during the 20s and 30s in the infancy of naval aviation. Like I said, it's got a phenomenal cast in it. Ward Bond again plays it, this time as a movie writer. Maureen O'Hara plays John Wayne's wife. It was one of several movies she made with John Wayne. But long story short, John Wayne's character midway through the movie has a fall and becomes paralyzed. He sort of gets back to where he can walk, but only with the aid of 2 canes. But it, in effect, ends his naval career. They medically retire him from the Navy, and he has no other real career options. And a Hollywood writer reaches out to him. That's the part played by Ward Bond. And he becomes basically a naval advisor to Ward Bond's production company for movies. Then the advent of World War II comes back into play, and his character in action, if I'm not mistaken, this movie is based on true events. But World War II comes into play, and John Wayne's character manages to get himself recalled back to active duty in a limited capacity. He can no longer fly, but he can plan, he can develop, and he basically helps the war effort by coming up with the idea of escort carriers. And if you know anything about World War II, you had the big carriers that were always in the fight, but the problem was they didn't have an easy way to get replacement planes without sending the whole carrier back to a land base. So they came up with this idea of jeep carriers or escort carriers. Didn't have nowhere the size or complement of a full-size carrier, but could carry a limited amount of planes that could go and reinforce the bigger bulk carriers, or they could go on smaller convoy missions and provide some measure of air defense. And, it's a pretty good movie. You got to check that one out too. But throughout the course of the movie, in the beginning, the movie, there's a big Army-Navy rivalry that goes on. There's one scene where John Wayne and his buddies have done something, and I forget but it was based on a real-world accomplishment in the Navy. And the Army come in, and no, actually the Navy crashed an Army's party, what it was, and then later on you see the Navy doing the same thing, or the Army doing the same thing to the Navy. And it's again a real good rivalry. But interesting, I guess you could say it's carry on to yesterday's conversation of inter-service rivalry. Like I said, the Army-Navy games this weekend. It might be the only time of the year that I'll actually sit down and watch a sports event. Because it's the only game of the year, only game of the year where both sides, both teams are willing to lay down their lives for this nation. So it's going to be, I think it'll be a good game this year. Anyway, folks, I'm going to cut this one off. Like I said, go Navy, lose Army. Lose to Army. But everybody have a great, wonderful weekend. I may or may not get a video out tomorrow. Just depends on what Mrs. Old Soldier has me doing. As it is Friday going into Saturday. And also getting ready for Christmas. Because it's Christmas this time of year. So yeah. But stay safe out there, my friends. For those that have subscribed to this channel and have stayed with it, much appreciated, truly from the heart. God bless each and every one of you. If you're new to the channel, if you're just perusing through here and you see it and you like it, hit the subscribe and like button down below if you don't mind. That being said, some charities I always ask you to help out with. TunnelsToTowers.org, Folds of Honor. Pin Up for Vets and Ballot for Veterans. They can't do it by themselves. Anything that you can help to support them with would be greatly appreciated. Also this year, if you can, support your local Toys for Tots drive. Think about that little child that, if you don't give a toy, wouldn't have anything at all this year. So if you can, support your local Toys for Tots drive. Go to wherever and get a little something you can put in there for a boy or a girl. That way on Christmas morning they'll have Christmas joy. Vendors that ask you to help out, Money Quick Pawn on Rayford Road, Fayetteville, North Carolina is where I go to for all my firearms and ammunition needs in the area. Robert's Custom Woodwork, when he reopens on 2 January, go and check him out. Got a lot of great wood carvings. Makes a phenomenal product. Got to check him out, folks. When he opens on January 2nd, flood his inbox full of orders. Likewise, do the same thing for Unsung Patriot. He's open right now, but he's got great t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, and other stuff. Check him out. If you like my poetry I read on Mondays and have not got my books yet, they're still available on Amazon. Order them now, and you ought to be able to get them just in time for Christmas, so you can use them for stocking stuffers. And likewise, my t-shirts below, my Teespring site. If you enter military, you get $5 off your order on the t-shirts. So get a chance to check all that out. I'd appreciate it. I think you'll like it. And with that said, God bless, take care. Remember, men and women in uniform each and every day, their families as well. Your local law enforcement, first responders, firefighters, remember them as well. As all of them put their lives on the line each and every day for our security and our freedom. Remember their families as well. So until tomorrow or Monday, God bless, take care. Old Soldier out.